Anong sabi ng isang algebra book sa isa pang book ng algebra? Huwag mo nga akong guluhin, marami rin akong problems.
Good morning, my grade students. I am Teacher Billy, your new teacher in math subject. Today, I prepared a video for you to understand our lesson for today. Our lesson is all about polynomials and how to multiply monomials. Please do watch it. Thank you.
Polynomial ay isang expression na binubuo ng mga variable, coefficients, at constants na kung saan ginagamitan natin ang mga operation na addition, subtraction, at multiplication at maaaring gamitan din ang mga non-negative na exponent. Ang variable ay isang number na hindi pa natin alam ang value at maaaring magbago kaya ginagamitan natin kadalasan ng mga alphabetical letter para i-represent sa expression. Kadalasan ginagamit na variable ay x at y, pero pwede ka gumamit ng kahit na anong letter na gusto mo. Ang coefficient naman ay number na minumultiply sa variable na kadalasan na nasa harapan neto. Ang exponent ay ang number or letter na isinusulat sa ibabaw ng isang expression o base na nagre-represent kung ilang beses natin imumultiply ang base sa sarili niya. Ang constant naman ay yung mga terms na walang kasamang variable. Halimbawa, sa expression na 5x squared plus 3, ang number 5 ang coefficient, x ang variable, 3 yung constant, at 2 yung power or exponent. Kapag 2 ang exponent, madalas natin itong tawaging squared. At cube naman, pag raised to the power of 3. Kapag ang polynomial ay binubuo lang ng isang term, ang tawag dito ay monomial. Halimbawa, 5x. Pag dalawa naman, tinatawag itong binomial. Halimbawa ng binomial ay 5x plus y. Pag tatlong terms naman, trinomial ang tawag. Halimbawa ng trinomial ay 5x squared plus y plus 3. At pag marami pa sa tatlo, kadalasang tinatawag na lang ito sa generic term na polynomial. May mga degrees din ang polynomial. Pag ang variable dito ay may power lang na 1, ang tawag dito ay linear polynomial o linear expression. Halimbawa nito, 5x plus y. Mapapansin na lahat ng variable sa expression na ito ay raised lang to 1, kaya hindi na nilalagay yung number 1 as power. Kapag naman may kahit na isang variable na ni-raise sa power of 2, tinatawag na natin itong quadratic polynomial. Halimbawa nito ay 5x squared plus 2y. Ang variable na x ay ni-raise to the power of 2. Hindi importante kung ang y ay raised to the power of 1 lang. Basta at least mayroong isang variable na raised to the power of 2, quadratic polynomial ito. Pag nasa third degree naman or ni-raise to 3, ang kahit isa sa mga variable ng isang expression, cubic polynomial na ang tawag. Halimbawa, 5x cubed plus 2.
Okay, 7-1, multiplying monomials. The first word we want to look at is monomial, and what does the term mono mean? And mono means one. So examples of monomials would be the letter x is a monomial. The number 7 would be a monomial. X to the second power would be a monomial because they are connected and there's no separation of addition or subtraction in between them. The term, I could combine all these together and make a 7x squared. That's also a monomial because there's no separation of subtraction or addition. So it's one term just compressed together. So what we're going to be doing is multiplying these tonight and tomorrow. So if we start just basic and we multiply exponents or variables with exponents, what was the rule when I take x squared times x to the fourth? When we multiply like bases with exponents, we are going to add their exponents. So that's x to the 2 plus 4 power, which is x to the sixth. Same thing if I change the variable up and I went a to the third times a squared times a, that's going to be a to the 3 plus 2 plus 1. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 there. And so that's going to be a to the sixth power. And so that's the very basis of, or the very basics of multiplying monomials. Now let's get to what you might see on your work today. These will be examples. What if I had something like that? 6x to the fourth power times x to the second power. What I want to do is multiply, because this is multiplication. Multiply the numbers first. Now the number out here is a 6. Now there isn't a number here, but that's a 1x squared. So we're just going to take 6 times 1, which is 6. And now let's focus on the exponents. X to the fourth times x to the second. We just add those exponents together, and that's going to be x to the sixth. Okay, 6x to the sixth. And let's do another one of those. How about okay. Again, let's look at the numbers first. We're going to take negative 2 times the negative 14, because the parentheses signify multiplication. So negative 2 times negative 14 is going to give me positive 28. Then looking at the variables, I've got y times y to the third power. So that's going to be y to the 1 plus 3, which is y to the fourth. And so what if I have two variables in there? Does that still make it a monomial? Well, they are compressed together. There's no separation by addition or subtraction, so those are still monomials. So we're going to do the same steps, except we're just going to have one more because we've got two variables this time instead of one. So let's take the negative 6 times the 4, which is going to give us negative 24. Now let's look at the x's. I've got x times x to the second. That's going to give me x to the third. And then I take y to the second times y to the fourth, which is going to give me y to the sixth. So negative 24, x to the third, y to the sixth. Okay, the next is going to be a power to a power. If I took x to the fourth, and then I took it to a power on the outside. Okay, power to a power tells me that I don't add the 4 and the 2, I multiply the 4 and the 2. So this is going to give me x to the 8th power. Now that power works if you put a number out in front as well. So let's say this is 2x squared to the third power. What that third power says is I'm taking everything in there to the third power. So I need to start off taking 2 to the third power. So that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to give me 8. And then I have my variable of x. And then I take the 2 times the 3, so that's going to give me 6. So my answer would be 8x to the sixth. And so let's take this one step further. And what if I saw something like this? Let's go Well, something like that. I'm going to do those parentheses first, and then the brackets will keep going. So we're going to take the 3 that's inside the parentheses and square it. 3 to the second power right there. That's going to give me 9. And then x squared to the second power is going to give me x to the 4th. And this is what's inside of our bracket now. And out there we have still a second power. So we go one more step. We take 9 to the second power, which is going to give us 81. And x to the 4th to the second power tells us we take 4 times 2, giving us x to the 8th power. Okay, 81 x to the 8th power. Now, let's look at one that's a little more lengthy. Might seem a little more intimidating, but we can work through it. Let's go with um, 3x y to the 4th power, all raised to the 2nd power, times negative 2y squared to the 3rd power. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and break this one down over here. Let's take our 3 to the 2nd power. So that's going to give us 9. And then we're going to take our, remember there's imaginary 1 there. This is power to a power. So our x, and then we take the 1 times the 2. So that gives me the 2. Then bring down our y, and that's going to be 4 times 2, which is going to be 8. So we've got 9x squared y to the 8th. Now over here, we've got negative 2 to the 2nd power. So negative 2 to the 2nd power is going to be negative 2 times negative 2, which is going to give me 4. That's y to the 1st, and y to the 1st to a power of 2 is going to give me y to the 2nd. And so I need to keep going with the 1 on the right. I need to take 4 to the 3rd power, so that's 4 times 4 times 4. I'm going to go ahead and bring the 1 on the left down here because I'm not doing anything with it yet. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. Now that could have been a bracket or a parentheses. It doesn't make a difference. And then y squared raised to the 3rd power, that's going to be 2 times 3. So y to the 6th. So now we're going to multiply things together here that we know. We've got 64 times 9, so just real quick, 64 times 9, it's going to be 36, 54, 57. So our numbers are going to give us 576. We've got x squared. We don't have any x's in the second one, so that's just going to be x squared. Then we have y to the 8th times y to the 6th. Now this is not power to a power. These both have a y connected to them. So I just take the 8 plus 6, and that's going to give me y to the 14th power. So a pretty crazy problem, but it ends up being 576 x squared y to the 14th power.